So 6 strings back on the guitar now, and I want to share with you an amazingly simple, beautifully symmetrical blues shape which has added so much to my playing. Now once you see it, it's going to be so obvious, but somehow it took me about 25 years to discover, but of course I'm going to share it all with you in the next few minutes. So the concept is this: we're in the key of G major here, and in blues we might solo over this using the G minor pentatonic scale here. Now I'm going to assume we all know this shape already, and when we play this position, you know, we get all the notes here at the 3rd fret on every string, but then the 2nd note on each string is either at the 6th fret or the 5th fret, depending on which string we're on. Right, so now we're going to zone in on just the top 3 strings and play both the note at the 5th fret and the 6th fret. So starting with the G string, we're going to get 3, 5 and 6, okay? Then same on the B string, 3, 5 and 6, and same on the high E, 3, 5 and 6. So now on those top 3 strings we've got this. Now adding in these extra notes really expands this position from a theory perspective, but we'll come back to that in a moment. For now, let's just think about rhythm, and having these groups of 3 is so useful for blues, because when we play over a swing rhythm, we really need those triplets in our soloing to fit the feel. So let's just start off by playing descending down these top 3 strings, bringing out those groups of 3. So 6, 5, 3 on the high E string, so just using pull-offs here, 1, 2, 3. Same on the B string, same on the G string, and then we can resolve down to this root note of G here with the 5th fret on the D string. Putting all that together, we get a really simple lick like that, which is so powerful. And in the track, you saw me using that combined with some other bluesy type stuff like... And we're off and running with something sounding pretty sophisticated, really. Now not only have we got this beautiful symmetry, where we've got this repeating pattern on the top 3 strings, but actually we've got some really sophisticated things going on in terms of the theory. So very briefly, on the high E, we've now got a G, an A and a B flat, so root, 2nd and minor 3rd. So these notes are just straight from a G minor scale, but over our G major track it's going to sound really dark for blues. Then on the B string, a D, an E and an F natural. So importantly, this E here in the context of G minor is going to create a kind of Dorian sound, which is pretty sophisticated, and then the F natural as the flat 7 of the context of the G major bring out a Mixolydian sound. So there's some pretty cool modal stuff going on here at the same time. And then on the G string we've got a B flat, a C and a D flat. Now importantly, this D flat here is the blue note in the context of G minor, so it's really essential just getting that darker bluesy sound. So I know this is a lot to take in terms of theory, but the important thing to notice is we've got a really simple pattern going on, but a load of sophisticated stuff we can get from it from a melodic perspective. Then let's look at bending with these notes. So because we've got this symmetry here, we can take the note of the 5th fret on any of these top 3 strings and bend it up half a step to hit the note of the 6th fret. Same on the B string, same on the high E. And then putting that in context with a lick, maybe then say bend up on the 5th fret, down and pull off to the 3rd fret, and then down to the 5th fret on the string below. Like so. And then I can just move that to the other string, so now starting on the B string and then starting on the high E, putting all those 3 together, you can can play a lick something like that. So really making use of this symmetry here and making it much easier to expand the same idea across the strings. Then another thing I really like to do with this pattern is use stings. So starting on the high E here at the 5th fret, I'm going to play the note and then really quickly up to the 6th, back down again and pull off to the 3rd. So that's the sting, and then a pull off, like so. It's a bit tricky to get at first, but once you get it, it's kind of addictive and you'll be using it all the time. So, and then maybe play 5 on the B and back to 3 on the high E. So that's the full kind of lick. And then same again, starting at the 5th fret on the B string. Same again, starting at the 5th fret on the G string. Something like that. Pretty nice kind of cascading lick, repeating down the pattern there. Little bend on the end to add some blues in. Then lastly, let's look at how we can use this pattern for double stops, so playing 2 strings at once. So starting here at the 6th fret on the B and high E strings, play those 2 strings together, then down to the 5th, those strings together again, and same again at the 3rd. So now let's just repeat that. And there you have a lick in its own right, just by playing those repeated double stops. Bring that down to the G and B strings. Exactly the same pattern again, and there's so many things we can do with that. You know, bringing out licks like that. One thing I often like doing on there is once you get to this one, G and B strings at the 5th fret, you can give that a little bit of a bend up and down, and then at the B and G strings at the 3rd fret, bit of a bend up, resolving down to the G at the 5th fret on the D string there. You know, bringing out that kind of lick. A million different things you could do with that, but makes your soloing sound a lot more sophisticated when you're using those 2 strings at once.